Imagine the sound, the steady, high-pitched buzz of a tattoo needle or the sharp, sudden click of a piercing gun. You tell yourself, just this one. It has a deep, personal meaning, and then I'm completely done. But 6 months later, you find yourself staring at a patch of bare skin on your forearm or looking in the mirror at your ears, calculating exactly what's missing. You are already browsing artists online and booking your next appointment. We all know someone, or maybe you are that person, who transitioned from one tiny hidden design to a living, breathing art gallery. Most outsiders quickly dismiss this as a superficial phase, a reckless cry for attention, or pure vanity. However, behavioral psychology reveals a much deeper, grounded truth. This is not a meaningless addiction. It is a profound psychological loop driven by control, neurobiology, and the ultimate human need to write our own history. 1. Somatic autonomy, reclaiming the kingdom. To truly understand the chronic collector, you have to look at the psychological concept of somatic autonomy. We live in a chaotic world that constantly demands our compliance. We face stress at work, societal expectations, and sometimes deeply rooted personal trauma. In those heavy moments, your inner mind can feel like an unsafe, unpredictable space. But your skin, your physical body is the one territory where you hold absolute, undisputed sovereignty. Deciding to voluntarily endure intense physical pain to permanently alter your appearance is a radical act of reclaiming yourself. For many who have felt powerless or invisible in their past, a new tattoo or piercing acts as a physical shield. It is a quiet, powerful declaration that says, I alone decide what happens to this body, and I choose what it looks like. Then there's the raw neurobiology of the experience. The human brain reacts to physical stress in highly specific ways. When a needle punctures the skin thousands of times per minute, the nervous system triggers an emergency response and floods the body with a powerful chemical rush of endorphins and dopamine. It's a natural survival mechanism meant to dull the physical sting, but it leaves the individual feeling intensely grounded, peaceful, and fully present. For someone who battles constant anxiety or mental overthinking, that hour in the studio acts as an aggressive form of meditation. The physical pain successfully drowns out the exhausting mental noise. Furthermore, the subsequent weeks of the healing process act as a tangible metaphor for emotional recovery. The body hurts, it scabs, it heals, and it becomes stronger and more beautiful. Finally, we must look at identity curation. Humans are storytelling creatures, but for some, verbal communication isn't enough. They require an externalized visual ledger. Every piece of ink or metal represents a specific milestone, a survival mechanism, or a version of themselves they refuse to forget. But here is the psychological catch. Once a new piece heals, it quickly becomes part of their baseline reality. The initial rush of validation fades, and the remaining blank spaces on the body suddenly start looking empty and incomplete. The brain begins to view the body not as a static object, but as a living canvas with unwritten chapters. The reality of the heavily modified individual is not rebellion, it is authorship. They aren't defacing their canvas, they're simply refusing to let the world dictate what their story should look like.